All right, it looks like we have most everyone here, and those who are still going to join can join us in a few minutes, but let's go ahead and get started so we have enough time. Thank you to all of those of you who are joining us. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Caitlin Barnard, Developer and Community Marketing Manager here at Kong. So as some of you may have noticed, we're switching up the format of our monthly calls a little bit here. This is just to make them more structured, give you a better idea of what topic we're going to be talking about further in advance, all of that. So after this quick intro, we're going to dive right into our presentation and demo today. And then at the end, we'll open it up to Q&A as usual. The intention is for these to still be really interactive. So please feel free to participate at any point. You can either unmute or drop any comments or questions in the chat below as well. And then we have moved into a new office space. So we are getting used to all of the new audio and internet there. So please don't hesitate to let us know if the sound, just if the sound is all right and all of that. So with that, welcome to November's online meetup, where we're going to be giving you a sneak peek into what's coming in Kong 2.0. We announced that earlier in October at Kong Summit, so I'm really excited for this. I'm excited that we have Guanlan on today. He's our engineering manager for the core team here, who's going to be presenting this. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Guanlan.
Hello, everyone. Sorry.
Hear me right now? Sounds good.
Yeah, I think we got it there.
All right. Sorry about that. This is mic quite not good. Gets used to it. We just get our new office. Sorry about that. Today I'm going to go through all the great stuff like we've been built for like last couple of months, and after summits we put a lot of effort to make it production ready. And let me walk you through the stuff we have. So first things, the Hive Mode we already announcing from the summit. And I want to just give you a quick intro about what it does. And if you are not part of the summit, and just give you a walkthrough. So basically what we have for Hive Mode here is, before that, every single code node relies on database, which might causing some issue for certain customers. By going for the Hive Mode, we add a flexibility, which that you can run your data plane, control plane, whenever the platform or the cloud vendors of your choice. You can have a control plane on the cloud. You can choose AWS, DigitalOcean, and you can have your data plane running on the Hive modes on the other cloud vendors. And you can also have running your favorites on-prem platform as well. So the benefit of that is first, you can get the flexibility to running your common structure in any your favorites platform you have. And a couple of other things, the benefit we can get out of this is in the future, we're going to have our Kong hosted environments. We can host your control platform on the cloud environments, which you can easily to manage your cluster, and you can also get a maximum performance from your on-prem data plane. So given that, and also another thing is when we have a lot Kong nodes connect to the database, it might causing performance slowdown for the database. But right now, only the control plane can access the database, which can provide additional layer for make sure you have a properly handled, protected database. And also another thing is the security. Before that, if you had compromised some of the Kong nodes, you might get fully access for your database. But right now, if you compromise the data plane, it's still we are fully protected. You cannot get access to your database. And it's make the deployment much easier. So that's the kind of motivation we have for the Hive Mode. So let me show you a really quick demo about how we use that in production. All right, I will. Can you share the screen, please?
Alrighty, so let me quickly explain the demo setup here. So this is very similar to the demo we showed everyone during the summit. If you have been there, it's basically that we have the one control plane that's running on DigitalOcean, and then which it's controlling two data planes currently that's running on DigitalOcean and AWS separately. So if you just access the data planes right now, I just put in some quick configurations. It's just proxying to example.com at this moment. But then if you simply do a change on the control plane, so this is the control plane, it's not the data plane. So if you change this to say, let me actually zoom in a little bit so you can see clear. If I change this to mockbing, which is our mocking service on the control plane, and then that change should be propagated to the data plane automatically. So this is like really the same that as we showed during the summit, but I just kind of want to show this again in case you missed the summit or you want some ideas on how this works. So what we have been working during the time after the summit is that we added the mTLS support for the control plane data plane communication. And the reason why we added that is because we truly care about the security of this infrastructure, and the data that's being transferred in there is potentially sensitive, and also if an attacker was able to change the config that's being pushed to your data plane, that's not a very good thing, obviously. So what we have been doing is that we added the mTLS support for this communication channel, so that theoretically no person should ever be able to compromise this mechanism. And the way that works is let me show you how this looks like. And by the way, this will be in the 2.0 official release. It's not in the preview yet, but it will be in the final release. So if you look at the com config file we have on the control plane, you notice that aside from the normal row that we showed during the summit, now we also have the cluster certificate and cluster certificate key configuration, which if you provide those, that would enable the mTLS communication between the cluster members. And what the cluster certificate looks like, let me show you really quick, is that it's basically it's just basically a self-signed certificate that has the common name of cone clustering, and then you put this certificate on any node that needs to be able to securely communicate with each other. So it's the same configuration on the and by the way, this is the data plane. It's the same configuration on the data plane side, except obviously the role would be proxy instead of admin. And then we give it the IP address and or domains and the port of the control plane that it should be talking to. And then the node will just kind of join the cluster automatically. You don't need to ever basically configure the node again. So in order to show this actually works, and by the way, the version that we demoed during the summit that does not have this mTLS capability yet. And to prove that, so we can run some packet capturing on that 8002 port that you saw earlier. And what I would do is I will restart the data plane. Okay, so that's so it looks like my SSH might be stuck, but it's all right. We can also restart the control plane. It does the same thing. We just wait for a couple seconds for it to reconnect. And then what I want to do is I will pull down this packet capturing so you can see that what's in there is indeed encrypted with mTLS. So what I will do is I will copy that file back, and then we just open that inside Wireshark. And what you will see is, so obviously the connection was broken, so it was trying to reconnect. And then if you look at the server hello message, that and by the way, the server in this context is the control plane, okay? And the server asked the data plane to present its certificate, and sure enough, the data plane sends back its certificate. right here, actually. That's the exact same certificate I showed you earlier. And then if you notice that all the communication after that point is completely encrypted, which means that there's no way anybody else could modify this or see what's being communicated. So I kind of want to briefly talk about what we did to support this. So really what we have in order to get this working is that because this communication mechanism is using the co-socket subsystem of OpenSD, which Cone is based upon, this co-socket subsystem is lacking mutual TLS support for a very long time. So in order to support this, our team at Cone, we contributed to the OpenSD project for the co-socket mutual TLS support. It's actually a pretty extensive change. It's more than 2,000 lines of code change, but we're glad that we're able to get this working. And really, like the reason why we go through so much hassle to secure the CPDP control plane data plane communication with mutual TLS is really just to ensure the integrity and security of the Cone cluster that's being run under this mode. And instead of reinventing a customized authentication scheme that's non-audited and like unproven, we choose to use the the proven method of security to secure the communication over the internet, which is the certificate-based security. So that ensures that we have a very solid foundation for the system moving forward. Also, like Guanlan talked earlier, in the future, you might be able to host your control plane on the cloud as well. And that implies that your communication will be going through an untrusted channel, but this provides a solid foundation that ensures that no matter what the deployment scenario is, your data always stays secure and your data plan always stays secure. So with that, I would like to turn back to Guanlan for some updates on the Go PDK front.
Before we go into that, any questions so far, folks, for our Hive mode so far? All right. One thing I would like to mention is like we are also spending a lot of time for the resilient say about the data plane control plane. So in the summit, we demos when we kill the control plane and how does that going to look like. So you can check our summit video for that. It's actually, we can still functioning from the data plane. And also if you kill the data plane or you restart the data plane, even without the control plane, it can still pick up the stale caches on its local host and it can still functioning. So like we are spending lots of time on the security and the resilience for like both of our products to make it secure and reliable as possible, because like we are very infrastructure oriented software, we really want to focus on that part of effort. So I just want to shout out for the teams being put a huge effort on that. All right, so coming up, I'm going to talk about a little bit around the Go plugin support. So we have Go PDK around Summit, and what we had for demo is like we have at the headers for logging plugin we wrote in the Go. So we found out that definitely has some slowdown for the Go plugin. The PDK we are initially thought is like, hey, if you are fluent in Go language, probably the performance is not going to be equivalent to Lua just-in-time compiler because it's just fast, just designed to do that way. If you can combine the Go plugin together, so probably like initial, we only have to, the capability we have so far is you're going to do the header filter or body filter, but it's like we don't have any co-socket support. So what that means, like you cannot access external resources. You cannot use socket to talk to other servers for initial version. So what we are doing like after summits is first the optimizations. We are spending lots of things to figure out how can we optimize like the Go PDK performance to have like around the same level, probably not like 100% as the Lua plugin, but it's like try to aiming for a same level of magnitude. Couple of things we did, like we are exploring the event FS, which is kind of Linux provided mechanism to establish the fast event for that part. Another things we exploring is we are trying to see how does the auto process support looks like. So right now the progress so far is like we have like some POC running, but we still need to productionize. The good news is like I think right now the most of the Go plugins is like if you don't depends on like networks libraries can functioning. So that's the good news. Yeah, so that's the updates from the Go PDK part of front. Another thing is L4 proxy support. So as many of folks you know, there we are trying to transaction the service mesh support from the Kuma, which is another dedicated service mesh software like released by Cone. And after we removing lots of chunks like from the Cone code base, which causing some of the issues, as many of you folks knows. So we are going to push some extra effort for the L4 proxy supports on the Cone side. What we do here is like we are separate encrypt traffic from non-encrypt traffic, and we are able to reduce the CPU usage like on your proxy TLS traffic. We don't have to use the handshake every time. Like we're able to use SNI proxy when possible. So that's another improvement I would like to share with you folks. Another thing is we are potentially adding a UDP proxy support with the DTLS, and which is coming later. Just want to give you folks a little bit heads up on that front if you're interested about the UDP proxy. All right, so the other things I would like to talk about is we actually made a lot of other improvements as well. So one of our favorites, plugin Prometheus, and also have like some performance complaint from the community. Like after poke around a little bit, we figure out it's actually the SHDIC underlying. SHDIC is a mechanism to storage counter inside of OpenRST. Is a require a global lock for each access. So we found out it's actually causing a lot of performance slowdown. The way we're doing that, we are add a lock-free counter like library is right now open sourced, but we still in the earlier review phase. The good thing about the REST like lock-free counter is you're right now able to kind of like to do the statistic, calculate the matrix in your memory, and will sync up like use a timer with your SHDIC, which can reduce your SHDIC pressure a lot. So another things we can use these things is our anonymous reports. Although it's have like some it's sent packets once per hour, but like when you have multiple core, it still have like slightly performance impact for that part front. So we're improving that part as well. For the DO on the other topic, we are for the DO transformations after 1.4, we add a way to handle the DO, which is underlying our database access layer. And we are right now, you can simply use like some transformations apply for that front. I mentioned the service mesh transaction before, so that will be removed entirely from the Cone 2.0 code base, which include the Kubernetes injectors, and also a couple of library is causing some flakiness on our CI build, which I'm happy to remove them. A couple of other things we spend on our times on is like the Zemkin plugin. The Zemkin plugin, we actually have some contribution from the author, Zemkin author. So like he has some suggestion around like how to optimize the span field. So we spend like some time on around that part front. So make sure like a couple of our favorites plugin be take care as well. So we're gonna release them together with 2.0, the new plugins. Another thing is like a plugin report matrix with text. So it's another features we're gonna add on the Zemkin plugins. So I think that's the major improvements we're gonna make. I heard some of the folks ask about what's gonna breaking changes gonna looks like on 2.0. I agree, it's a very good question. So the good question is like short answer for that is like we are hopefully can get some answer like in shortly this week and share with you folks to prepare to upgrade to the 2.0 version. We also think about like some of your folks might running before 1.0 version, so it's probably a lot of version behind. So like we're not gonna teach you folks for now. The way we're doing that is we're gonna release the final 1.0 series. We have a 1.5 release, which only gonna including a CLI tool to upgrade your like APIs to server and routes, and have you being kind of 1.0 series. If you are, this is going to be a last chance to upgrade if you are before 1.0, behind 1.0. So like after 2.0, we're going to drop the support like from the migration from the each single version. If you are trying to do the migration, that's not going to be feasible. So I'm strongly encourage you to upgrade to 1.5. So it's last call for you folks. Yeah. And I think that's pretty much all the contents from my end. So I left a little bit more times for you folks to have like some discussion. So I'm really excited and to know what's your inputs and like any questions so far. I would like happy to answer. All right. Any questions? Jeremy, I saw your face. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Glad to hear all the work that y'all are doing. Really appreciate all the fixes and enhancements and improvements that are coming in 2.0. Super excited to try it out once it's released.
Yeah. So we are more kind of like, it's not only a shiny feature we're going to build, it's actually how to make sure it's solid, it's like resilient. Yep. Yeah, we have to think about like how to encrypt them. So that's the effort we actually been made. Like that's holiday season, still like we are working pretty hard over
I
here.
know, here it is. Yeah, holiday season. No rest for the weary, right?
And like still like we are trying to ship the GA version like by the end of the year or earlier next year. So that's the rough timeline for that. Awesome. Are you folks excited about that 2.0? So who will be like upgrade to 2.0 like in the first time? All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions so far from the Zoom panel?
Yeah, we have a question in the chat.
What's the release date? So for the 1.5, it's like we're gonna release at the same time with 2.0. It's basically to take care of the other versions, like if you're way behind, so like 1.5. Will be no new features at all. So potentially some bug fixes, but like it will be the last version. So it's the GraphQL. Yeah, the GraphQL is like primarily going to be like enterprise features. So I remember in the summits we probably have like some sort of like a easy button to help you spin up the GraphQL, but it's like no kind of like formal support for that yet. Another question I saw is like a gRPC. Right now we have a gRPC native support. You can proxy your gRPC traffic, and you can enable the Chrome plugin on that. So it's like a support right now, but it's like in level of the gRPC transformation. For example, if we want to take a look on the payload of the gRPC, or you want to transfer the gRPC to RESTful API, or like the other way around. That case, like we are not kind of supported in this point. Probably we're going to revisit this after 2.0 if we. But if you're looking for a proxy or gRPC traffic, you're perfectly fine. You can use like 1.3 for that. Yeah. Another question from is like, what's a part of the community version? What's part of the community? So are you asking for what's the difference between the community version or enterprise version? Is that what you're asking?
Like basically the features that come with it.
Oh, you can check out with our enterprise. Like I believe there's a website. Let me try to find that. In our Chrome HQ, they should have like a feature comparison about the stuff. Let me try to pull that up. But like this is primarily for the community. So like I would like have like answer more kind of like community questions.
So because we are trying to use a Kong gateway, So we just wanted to know like what are all that's part of the basic community edition and the enterprise edition.
So like one thing I try to emphasize here is like whether the Kong community version or enterprise version, we all share with a single runtime. So like that's no difference. What the Kong enterprise provide is an add-on makes sense for large enterprise customers. Like for example, like more security and like more resiliency, more so like a workspaces to how to segregate your difference. If you're huge in corporation, multiple teams, how to like, for example, RBAC, role access control. So for that part, I think our enterprise supports. And beyond that, we have like a Kong Studio and like to make sure like how you make it easy for you to test and your APIs. So for that part of front. So I believe there's a future. And Catherine, you might like share with all the folks here about the Kong enterprise feature. I believe that we should have like some table including any sort of like new features.
Yeah, I'm looking for it as well, and we just redid parts of the website, so I can also send you that information afterwards too if we can't pull it up right now.
Yeah, I think it's here. Basically, we provide additional features for that. I just want to emphasize like there's no difference for the gateway front. So I would like to see like if you are running like you in your traffic and play with that there will be no difference on proxy side. All right. Any other questions?
No.
Hey guys, my audio was down for a good bit of it, and I wonder if you can tell us if the Go PDK stuff supports everything that you can do with Lua, or is it a subset? And
like for 2.0, I would say to be honest, I think it would be a subset of feature because Lua, the co-socket system is like something we might revisit. We're starting to research on that front. So I mentioned like the co-socket support is going to be extremely hard for Go, but like good news is like we have the auto process idea and we might add a support for that later. Another question from Daniel is, what other PDKs will be also released? So like, what do you mean? Is the Go PDK or the Lua PDK? Or like other language?
Yeah, other programming languages such as Python or Java or something like this.
Yeah, I would say if we go for the output process mode, like for the future, it might support other language easily. But initially for the 2.0, we're gonna have the Go initially as a popular choice here. So I'm glad like to hear there's a other language, but it's like I think if you the bottom line up here, if you're looking for maximum performance, I would suggest go for Lua PDK because it's native of the Kong itself. For the Go is after 2.0, you're gonna have a limited PDK support for Go. If you're looking for other language, probably gonna wait the Go library be mature enough. Then we, if we have enough voice from the community, we're probably gonna take a look on other language. Yeah, thanks for the question though. Any other questions?
Yeah, and actually, I just add on that really quick. So our vision of the multi-language support of Kong, like at the initial stage, is like Guanlan said, it's most likely not going to be as fast as Lua, but it's very beneficial if you need ways to rapid prototype something using a familiar language before you're committed to like re-implementing it in Lua if you want better performance. Or some other use cases that we have seen is that you need to talk with like a specific database backend that doesn't have a good Lua driver, and then you could potentially use like other languages for that.
Yeah.
But that's really like our envisioned use case of the Go PDK. It's not intended to replace like everything that's in Kong today with Go.
Yeah, like for those kind of legacy database, there's no active contributor on the driver, so you probably have to deal with like some like Java drive or like a Go language support. So that's make the most sense for using a Go plugin in this case. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? We have probably like 5 more minutes. So I would like chat if you just curious about like how the roadmaps look like, or would like share some experience, like what kind of version of your folks. So I will try to do a quick survey here, like how many folks are on the 1.0 series? Yeah, anyone? Just like probably just leave a message on the chat if you're on the 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Yeah.
Yep, just started 1.4 this week in our dev environment, vetting it out. We're on 1.3 in production.
Nice. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. And
try to keep up the pace.
Yeah, all right. Any of folks you are behind the 1.0 series? Yeah, if you feel embarrassed to put, you can just like put a message in chat. Right. Okay, sounds good. Sounds like all the attendees for this meeting are pretty kind of like follow the chain, like on the 1.0 series, which is great. So yeah, just remember we're gonna remove the migration path like for the 2.0 for our version behind 1.0. So it's I have to share, like it's a huge burden for us to maintain like a multiple version like before. So remember we have the CVS and the CVE, like we release all the version. We release 6th version like for the previous releases. And also like right now, if we try to release a new version, it's become almost impossible. The reason behind that is we have to write the migration test for every single version we support before. So 2.0 is a good way to teach all the migration like from the behind 1.0 series. Yeah. So I'm glad like all the audience right now they don't have any version behind 1.0, which is good signs. So yeah, so just I'm so excited to get 2.0 like mature and ready for GA. So yeah, with that, I think Kathleen, I think
there's another question.
What's your support for GraphQL? I would say probably like just check with the like a video. I can ping some video like from the Con Summit. There's we introduce the GraphQL support. I think it's for enterprise feature for this point, but I'm happy to share that.
Yeah, so during the Con Summit 2019, on the second day keynote speech, I don't know if you any of you saw it or like still remember it. Our VP of Engineering, Jeff, gave a talk, and I was there helping him demo our GraphQL support with Insomnia. It's a pretty cool demo. Like I encourage you to I think there's a place you can put in your email on the Con Summit page, and then if you put in your email, you can get access to our video sessions during the summit. And if you look at the keynote, you should be able to find GraphQL along with other enterprise feature demos during the summit.
I just found it like for our summit page, share with you folks here, and basically you can click the GraphQL here button here. You can filter out all the related GraphQL, and I believe like if you try to watch like our demos, there's a I think it's probably going to be you have to sign up for just put it you can just watch here. Watch here. So 2020s.
Yeah, and the GraphQL one is the three-headed dragon of digital transformation. I believe that's where it is.
Just watch this video clips, and we'll have like more information on that front. Yeah. I can probably answer one last question if you have any. Alrighty, I think there will be it. Catherine, can you closing this up? Thanks, folks.
Yeah, thanks everyone for the great questions, and thanks for going through all those features. That was great. This will also be, I know some of you may have had some audio issues or issues joining. We'll get that worked out, but the recording will be up later today as well. So you'll be able to catch up there. So thanks everyone. Our next call is on December 10th, so we'll have more information about that soon. We hope to see you there. a great day.
See you, folks.
Thank you for
Bye.
coming. See you next time.
Take care.
Bye.